Another edition of Lumberjack Logic Live. I'm your host, Neil Johnson, and I am very excited to be with you today. I'm so excited because what just happened in the House of Representatives is it's going to send ripples all over. In fact, people that I know, and many of you know who have followed me for a long time, know that I was censored here on this platform multiple times, many strikes, okay, demonetization, you name it, on and on, algorithmic suppression, all of it, okay? Thank you so much for joining me today as I celebrate this big victory because Jim Jordan's strongly worded letters and investigations finally came through and did something. This is unbelievable. So, just give you the headlines. If you don't know, breaking, Jim Jordan posted this about an hour ago. Due to our oversight efforts, Google commits to offer all creators previously kicked off YouTube due to political speech violations to return to the platform. But that's not all. And we're going to go into the details of it. This is massive, folks. You guys know my friend George, who was kicked off YouTube. Okay, he can now come back on. My friend Nick Moseder. Oh gosh, I pray to God we get Nick back on. I love Nick's commentary. How many of you guys remember Nick? And Nick had to go do other things. This is absolutely huge for people like Nick, for people like George, my friend Brian Lupo, CanCon. I mean, we can have the band back together again. Okay, AZ Mama asked, why was George kicked off? Because they didn't like what he said. Okay? And I like Barbara's comment. Now they need to pay restitution to all those that got demonetized. No kidding, folks. I had to stop producing content. I mean, what can you do, right? You're building this channel. I was adding at times 40,000 subscribers a month, but it doesn't matter if they just take away the income. If they just, I don't know why it would be frozen. I know. It's Doug Naples. Doug was calling. Anyways, I was talking, I threw a call out to Doug as well, and I put this on D&D, so it shouldn't have done that. Anyways, I'm sorry. All these people can come back on, but let's just get into the news here because it wasn't just YouTube, it was Facebook, all of it. You guys have got to smash. I mean, constantly, we were what was George's channel called again? Well, he had Behizzy, then he had Chocolate Superman. I mean, because everybody kind of tried to keep their channels going and coming on with new channels, and then they would get banned again. It was absolutely nuts. So anyways, this is absolutely huge. Doug tried to call again, but I'm gonna read to you from the letter. This is King and Spalding, which is a law firm, September 23rd, 2025. So again, just today, written to Jim Jordan. Dear Chairman Jordan, this statement of facts is submitted on behalf of our client Alphabet Inc. and its subsidiary YouTube in response to subpoenas issued by the House Committee on the Judiciary on February 15th, 2023 and March 6, 2025. Throughout the committee's investigations, Alphabet provided responsive information to the committee to fulfill its oversight responsibilities, producing internal records and providing extensive testimony, including more than 40 sets of responsive documents and the voluntary participation of 20 executives in transcribed interviews. Now, folks, I got to tell you something, just so you know, okay, and here, I'm going to find it for you quick. This wasn't going to be part of it, but Media Matters YouTube Ground Zero Election Conspiracies. Okay, so my friends and I, Media Matters, okay, here it is, June 14th, 2021. Now, YouTube, this is an article from Media Matters. Now, if you don't know, Media Matters is a George Soros funded operation. It is far left. It's far whacked. I'm telling you, folks, if we had not won this election, if Charlie Kirk had not done the Lord's work and the rest of you to win this election, we would not have this victory. Now, look at this. YouTube is ground zero for fraudulent election audit advocacy. And here we go. We're going to go into it. YouTube channels spreading lies about the 2020 election and pushing for election audits. And there he is, George Behizzy. 159,000 subs back then. That channel got wiped. He started other channels. He had gotten to over 200,000 subs. His average daily views were 210,400. His views in the last 30 days were 6.3 million at that time. Okay? Hold on, check this out. Here's Q, Quentin, out of the darkness. I got to give him a call because he can get back on now too. And I know Quentin's always wanted to, and I've wanted him back on. Okay. So that's 111,000 subscribers at that time. Let's see. Where's I gotta find where's Dougie? There's Doug. Doug Tenaple. At that time, he only had 61,100 subscribers on this channel. His channel that had 500,000 subscribers had been wiped out. Doug is a YouTube animal. If you guys don't know Doug, he is like a YouTube animal, folks. He would constantly build these new channels and blow them up. And then YouTube would come along and wipe him out again. I chose a different path because I had other work to do. So I would just go out and I would do other work and I would let the channel drop the strikes, and then I would start covering news again. Let's see, his views. Average daily views at that time were 79,500. Here we go. Here's Julie Green. Was on there. Nick Moseder. Nick had 44,100 subscribers. Yeah, I'll give you guys some really inside baseball on this, okay? Now this, here's Neil Johnson. There I am. Back then, folks, I only had, look at my thumbnails sucked. Okay, 24,800 subscribers, and I had these sucky thumbnails, all right? Okay, it's amazing I got any views. You people have been so great. I had 41,100 views a day, 1.23 million views in the last 30 days. This is back then when the channel was fairly new. CanCon, he had 20,100 subscribers, and he was getting average daily views of only 3,900. I thought I had bad thumbnails, but CanCon, he stole the show, man. His titles and thumbnails really sucked. I love the guy, but man, he just go deep in the weeds and he kind of lose people, but it's awesome. So here's the thing though. Okay, and it goes on with all these other people. They're all gone. They're all wiped off YouTube. And the only reason I made it was because I just, I had this thing and I'm like, well, I'll just let it go for a little while because they're just going to ban the channel. So all of these people though, that were booted off YouTube can now come back and due to, somebody says, get to the point. This is the point. Okay. If you got to figure out what the point is, I don't know what to do for you. All these people who were kicked off YouTube are now invited back on. The censorship battle, everything that we went through was absolutely appalling, folks. And the only people who really understand it are those that actually went through it, especially if you had built something large and just had it wiped out overnight. It was disgusting. And what they were doing was trying to control the narrative. Then they used demonetization to then redistribute wealth to the left. So they would take money away from conservative creators. Now, one of the things you need to understand is when you get demonetized on YouTube, okay, people can still view your content. YouTube still makes money off YouTube Premium, and they can run more ads on the lefty channels because they can distribute that ad money there. Does this all make sense to you, what I'm saying on that point? Because it seems a little convoluted because you're like, well, if they're demonetized you, they're not running ads. No, they still get paid for YouTube Premium. And then they also, exactly, it destroyed people's livelihoods, Lynn. And it's retarded. Anyways, throughout the community, so voluntary participation of 20 executives in transcribed interviews. Okay, I am going to just clue you into something. There was nothing that was voluntary about what Google and YouTube did. Okay? Hey, Google, YouTube censors, do you hear me? There was nothing voluntary about what you did. Subpoenas were issued. You were compelled to testify in front of the United States Congress. Okay? Give me a break. Alphabet is a collection of businesses, the largest of which is Google. Alphabet's mission to organize the world's information and make it universally accessible and useful. Alphabet is committed to building helpful products for everyone, and the company aspires to give all users the tools they need to increase their knowledge. No, that is not true. Again, so it's not only, folks, the censorship that was on YouTube, people who had websites, okay? So you guys know all those annoying ads that show up on websites when you're there. Okay, well, those annoying ads are placed on websites and they become part of the Google AdSense program. And then they would wipe ads out from those websites. It happened to the Gateway Pundit. It happened to Steven Crowder. It happened to numerous people. Okay, Dan Bongino. They would ban you just for having Dan Bongino on your show. Okay? It's nuts. Because why? Because liberals cannot stand a meritocracy. They cannot live in a world where the best ideas rise to the top. They need to censor you. It's peak fascism. You know what's even more peak fascism? Murdering, assassinating those who disagree with you, who make better points than you, like Charlie Kirk, like Donald Trump, and so on. Okay? The company is committed. This is point number 3. The company, from the law firm now again, the company is committed to doing its part to continue to keep the digital ecosystem safe, reliable, and open to free expression. Only because you were forced to. If Donald Trump had not won this election, this would not have happened. You guys understand that? If we had not won this election, what kind of world would we be living in? We won it in spite of all odds. It was God's grace. The previous 4 years were God's grace to show us just how bad things could get with the election of Joe Biden, the stolen election that Joe Biden won, okay, when he didn't win. It's absolutely absurd. Do you know what's really interesting about this? I want you to think about this. What Google has done, Alphabet, YouTube, what they have done by admitting this in front of the United States Congress. Are we at the point now, folks? Are we at the point where we are going to have the entirety of the stolen election debacle broadcast for the world to see? Are we? I'm curious. What do you guys think? Are we at that point finally that we are going to see the entire stolen election debacle? I think we might. We might finally be there. Tara from Montana, good to see you. I'm taking off for Montana a couple days. Got to go hunt elk out in Montana. Woo! I love elk hunting, man. I just love hunting. I love being out in the mountains, all of it. I love freedom. I love freedom. Back to this. So here it is. So this is, I mean, there's numerous other people. We were all wiped out because YouTube is ground zero for fraudulent election audit advocacy. And do you remember all that was exposed during the Arizona audit, and yet nothing came of it? But folks, I want you to understand that right now in Georgia, it appears we are going to get the information out of Georgia. The DOJ has entered that. If we get those ballots with the perfect ovals, huh? What about Michigan, where about 1 million documents, I just covered that yesterday, have now been released through FOIA, the greatest FOIA haul in U.S. history from Yehuda Miller. This is huge. And you know what? Hey, I think I covered this yesterday on a stream with Heather. But when you looked at Arctic Frost and Jack Smith and the Department of Justice and everybody they had gone after, the number one person that they named in that article was who? I mentioned it yesterday. Arctic Frost went after all these people. It was Charlie Kirk, the Turning Point crowd, all of this. But then they listed they started with the whole Charlie Kirk thing, but then they listed all these other people that they'd gone after, and who was the number one person, the first person mentioned in that article about Arctic Frost. Okay. Do you remember too when I would do these shows and all the liberal lefties would come on and tell you, I'm going to report you. I'm going to report you. I'm going to report you. I'm going to report you so your channel gets banned. Do you guys remember this stuff? Okay. It wasn't Judicial Watch. It was actually Mike Lindell. So let me take a moment to say, go get your stuff from Mike Lindell. You want to get some Christmas gifts? Go to mypillow.com/lumberjack or call the 800 number. 1-800, what is it, 568-2865? Or is it 586-2865? We're going to find out for you because I'm telling you, the best deals are at promo code lumberjack. 1-800-568-2865, 1-800-568-2865, mypillow.com/lumberjack. Mike Lindell has been such a warrior. He has not shut up one single bit. And right now you can get the sheets, the percale sheets for $29.88, any color, any size. The towels are in stock. I'm telling you, go get your towels now because they will be gone. They are the best towels known to man. Lynn says snitches are despicable. Exactly. I mean, it was every time we would stream and then we would have these liberal trolls following us. Hey, we're going to report you because you're just a bad guy because you said the election was stolen. You said COVID is a scam. You said the vaccines don't work. Oh gosh, it was endless. And now, according to this, back to this, I'm so excited, folks. I'm so excited because do you know what? My friends, who were treated so horribly. My friends like George and Quentin and Nick and Brian and Marcus and all of us. This is huge, okay? Okay, on to the next piece from the letter here. Now, this is all admission from YouTube through their attorney. No matter the political atmosphere, YouTube will continue to enable free expression on its platform. Pull! I'm telling you, if we lose in the future, folks, this could all go away. And I will tell you 100, there isn't one. Rumble sucks. You guys all know that. Okay? There were so many. But no matter the political atmosphere, YouTube will continue to enable free expression on its platform, particularly as it relates to issues subject to political debate. Political debate and discussion are in the public's interest, which is why YouTube expanded its approach to educational, documentary, scientific, and artistic content on the platform. I find it interesting because every time I do a video that talks about the 2020 election that was stolen, what do? They put those little banners below. Are they still doing that, folks? Do you guys still see, like, when you watch videos on the vaccine or election, do they still put the little banners, go to the CDC? Do you remember when I ran the study from the CDC? I read the stupid study from the CDC, which is exactly where they tell you to go. YouTube told you, oh, that's where you got to go. Google told you this is where you got to go. I read the stupid study with no commentary, specifically because I knew just, what they would do. So I read the study with no commentary, which was a peer-reviewed study, which said HCQ worked. Do you guys remember that? And I got a 2-week vacation. They kicked me off the platform for 2 weeks. It was on strike number 2. If you get the 3rd strike, it's done. Okay, you still see it. We need peace. Yeah, so they're still promoting this crap. Blows my mind. In contrast to other large platforms, listen to this. Get ready. You were going to laugh. In contrast to other large platforms, YouTube has not operated. This is the attorney letter again to the House Judiciary Committee. In contrast to other large platforms, YouTube has not operated a fact-checking program that identifies and compensates fact-checking partners to produce content to support moderation. YouTube has not and will not empower fact-checkers to take action on or label content across the company's services. That's fascinating because what did we just talk about? How they fact-check with government entities. So that's better? Go to the CDC, go to the Health and Human Services to determine. What Doug's on? Doug, it's good to see you. Doug, did you see this news? I was going to have Doug on the stream. And Doug, I'm doing this live from my phone, so I don't have a StreamYard link because I wanted Doug on here. Doug, do you remember this? Here we go. Doug, I want you in this conversation here in the chat. Do you remember this article? YouTube is ground zero for election audit advocacy, fraudulent election audit advocacy. I'm going to give you a little trip down memory lane, Doug. Guys, if you don't know Doug TeNapel, Doug in Exile, go subscribe to his channel. Here he is back then with 61,100 subscribers, okay? And he was wiped out just after this article came out. And what's interesting about this, and I found this out in the documents of Missouri versus Biden and so on, they communicated, Media Matters and some of these NGOs were communicating directly with the platforms to get people wiped out. Doug was wiped out immediately after this. Bahizzi was wiped out. CanCon, Nick, I was almost wiped out. Marcus and I were one of the only ones that survived. And it was just because I quit making content and I just wiped out a bunch of content, let the channel sit, and then went. But Doug, you got your channel back. Doug, on this channel, you had 61,100 subscribers. When you were your first channel that got wiped out, how many subscribers did you have on that channel, Doug? I think it was somewhere around 500,000. But this is absolutely huge. YouTube also began offering a feature on YouTube beginning in June 2024 that allows us to add notes to provide relevant, timely, and understandable context on videos. The pilot is available on mobile. YouTube also features an extensive comment section where viewers can comment and share their views on content posted by creators. 455,000 subs Doug had at that time, and then that was wiped out. That was right after Donald Trump was... it was January 6th. I think it was in February that your channel was wiped. So Doug has had, is it 12 channels? I don't know, Doug. I mean, it's a lot. Okay. Yeah, I think it was 12 channels. I saw somebody make a comment on that too. And you got them all back. Um, the company terminated channels. This is again in the attorney letter. The company terminated channels for repeatedly violating its community guidelines on elections integrity content through 2023 and COVID-19 content through 2024. Today, YouTube's community guidelines allow for a wider range of content regarding COVID-19 and elections integrity, reflecting the company's commitment to free expression. It had no commitment to free expression until we won. YouTube will provide an opportunity for all creators to rejoin the platform if the company terminated their channels for repeated violations of COVID-19 election integrity that are no longer in effect. Doug, have you reached out to Quentin yet? I know you and Quentin are good friends. I was going to call Quentin today. Curious if you reached out to him yet, because we need Quentin back on YouTube. We need back, okay? YouTube values, this is the funniest, guys. Listen to this, 24. YouTube values conservative voices on its platform and recognizes that these creators have extensive reach and play an important role in civic discourse. The company recognizes these creators are among those shaping today's online consumption, landing must-watch interviews, giving viewers the chance to hear directly from politicians, celebrities, business leaders, and more. That's right. I bring these people on. I've had Marjorie Taylor Greene on. I've had out of Arizona, Andy Biggs. I've had who's the Navy SEAL out of Arizona. You guys know, you've watched all these interviews with Congress people. I should take a trip out to DC again. I'm going to totally do it. I'll get back out there, folks, and get some more interviews for you. Interestingly, though, I set up these interviews, and you lovely people don't watch those as much as you just watch me go off on things like this. So I don't know. It's frustrating because it takes more work to set up these interviews. So the committee has taken important investigative steps to highlight that onerous obligations under laws such as Digital Service Act, Digital Markets Act may stifle innovation and restrict access to information. These laws place a disproportionate regulatory burden on American companies, and the company has long expressed its concern about the risk DSA may impose to freedom of expression. Now, I'm gonna drop this here. I'm gonna go to another part of Jim Jordan's tweet. But what I need you to understand, it was not just YouTube, and you guys know this. Okay, YouTube also admits, I'm gonna, because this will deal with the other ones too. YouTube also admits the Biden administration's censorship pressure was unacceptable and wrong, confirms the Biden administration wanted Americans censored for speech that did not violate YouTube's policies. I covered this 2 years ago in the emails of Missouri v. Biden. The Biden White House was communicating directly with YouTube, directly with Facebook, directly with Instagram, directly with all of them, to censor speech of Americans. It didn't even have to be speech that was in Katie Hobbs. Katie Hobbs had a direct line. I remember when I was covering the Arizona stolen election for the governorship, and Katie Hobbs had a direct line to some of these places as well. This is all part of the story, and I don't have all the facts and details here in front of me right now, but I covered them back then because I was targeted. I was obviously targeted because every time I do a Katie Hobbs video or a Carrie Lake video, okay, I would get a note. I'd get demonetized on that video and so on. Folks, smash that like. If you can't smash that like for this is huge. And I don't even think people understand just how big it is. The First Amendment protects your speech. Do you know why it protects your speech? Because your speech is one of the most important tools to fight a tyrannical government, okay? It's an old comment about don't pick your arguments with people who buy their ink by the barrel. Don't stifle freedom of expression. Don't stifle freedom of speech. Okay, details when YouTube began rolling back its censorship policies on political speech after Judiciary GOP began its investigation. So again, we get so frustrated, right? Because we hear about strongly worded letters and investigations. Okay. And we know this, but it worked. Folks, I want you to know that this actually worked. I mean, YouTube has caved. Google has caved. States that public debate should never come at the expense of relying on authorities. Promises to never use third-party fact checkers, okay? Over the past few years, we've uncovered massive scandals relating to big tech censorship. Facebook was one of the worst. Facebook censored Americans because of Biden White House pressure. Do you remember Jen Psaki's famous press conference where she admitted to it in front of all of us? Okay. Hey, Doug. Okay, I saw Lynn's comment. Let's do a collaboration. Let's do a live together. We should probably do it on your channel. Your channel's got bigger reach right now. But how many of you want to see Doug and I do a stream together? Okay. Just yes or no in the comments. Let's see. Because Doug, yeah, I think everybody will want this. We can talk about this issue. We can talk about other issues. Okay. All right. Everybody's on board here. We got to do this, Doug. I will reach out to you after the stream. We'll get something set up. We'll have to do it quick because I'll be out hunting again. Anyways, but we saw Jen Psaki admit to it in a press conference. That's how brazen they were. How brazen they were about what they were doing. I have the Terry Flaherty from the Biden. Was he from Fake Book or the Biden White House? I'm trying to get these names right. But the Biden, I can post in my chat that we are live over here. Yeah, either way, Doug, we'll figure it out. I'll get in touch with you. Maybe we can do a live later today. I'm so excited about this news, folks. But I remember when I was covering this and the emails between Instagram. Do you know what happened to this? Is one of the most poetic pieces of justice you will ever hear in your life. So pay attention right now. The Biden White House emailed the folks at Instagram, right? That's the fake book. Fake book owns Instagram, right? Yeah, I think it's Instagram. Anyways, Fake Book. I'm trying to remember the other big ones, but it was Instagram. And the Biden White House emailed Instagram, and they were like cussing them out. And they said, "What's going on? I mean, presidents' posts are not getting the traction they deserve." Okay. And what happened was, because they had set up this algorithmic suppression for anybody who talked about the jab, the Biden White House was getting censored. It was absolutely the most beautiful thing to read these discovery for the Missouri v. Biden and find out that the Biden White House, because of their pressure on Instagram, was getting censored for their speech about the jab. I just like, and then they're cussing out, "Get us some answers now, you effing. I was crazy, man. And that's it worked against them, which I think was so beautiful. But anyways, there was numerous scandals on this, and I think I just had to get this news out, folks, because this is so big. All you underground patriots gave me hope during COVID and Biden. Philip, thanks. I'm glad, because that really actually does a lot for me to know that, because at times you wondered what you were doing. You know, it was absolutely one of the most frustrating and stupidest times to live through in history. Do you guys all remember the masks with the holes in them so people could play their instruments at the orchestra? Hey, I mean, the mask, you gotta wear the mask. Wait, I can't play my instrument. Well, just cut a hole in it. Because the other holes in the fabric weren't big enough. You just had to make a bigger one. Yeah, I should. I mean, honestly, if all the censorship hadn't gone, I know Doug would easily have over 1 million subs. I'd probably be closing in on 1 million, because I just would have been able to continue doing what I needed to do. But this is the world we lived in. This is the battle we fought, and I want to thank all of you right now. No, this has come from the bottom of my heart. Seriously, thank you. Thank you for sticking with me, for sticking with Doug, for finding us on other platforms. There were times where the only place I could post was Rumble, and it's just a terrible platform, but that's what I did, so I could keep in touch with you, my audience. So I want to thank you, because you encouraged me. Okay. You encouraged me through this whole debacle to keep going, in spite of all the opposition we were facing, in spite of the financial ramifications, in spite of all of it. And I'm really grateful to you, my audience. I seriously, I really do believe you were the greatest audience of all time. So thank you. And if you're new to the channel, please subscribe, join the audience, and and go support Mike Lindell, mypillow.com/lumberjack, or call the 800 number. I am telling you, he's got 3 phenomenal deals going on right now. 1-800-568-2865. One of my mods can post this. 1-800-568-2865. mypillow.com/lumberjack, because Mike Lindell was targeted in Arctic Frost. Mike Lindell was targeted by every single person. Okay. The government, the Biden regime, they were all targeting him, and he would not shut up. And you know what's so great about Mike Lindell? You guys know I've traveled with Mike. We did the RNC together. I followed him around with camera. Then I did some interviews on his Frank Speech Network, which is now Lindell TV. I love Mike. He has no guile. He talks to these people. He's like a Charlie Kirk, really. I mean, if you think about this, like he a little different. I mean, Charlie is. I don't, what's the word I want to say? Charlie Kirk was so reasoned and so strategic in his things. Mike Lindell, though, has no guile, is what I'm drawing this comparison. He would talk to the CNN people, the MSNBC people. He would talk to them all. He didn't have bad blood for these people. He loved the Lord. He wanted to see people come to saving grace in Jesus, all of that. So he's well worth supporting. I saw somebody say, I wish Elon would take over Rumble. I don't. I want to say something very clearly on this. We cannot have too much power concentrated in any one person and any one entity. Okay? Do you guys agree with me on this? I'm serious. I do not want Elon taking over Rumble. I just want better leadership at Rumble that actually builds a platform instead of just trying to pull creators over. Okay? We need decentralized power. Don't ever get too enamored with people here on Earth. Hear me on this. Do not get too enamored with people here on Earth. Elon Musk has been reasonably good on allowing free speech, but not completely good. Okay? I'm serious. People are still censored over there. I get censored by their AI. I've had that happen twice. Okay? You know, Ben, Elon is a little unstable. He's a genius. He's an unstable genius. I totally respect what the guy's done. I mean, to build the companies that he has built, that's huge. But we do not ever want to centralize too much power to any one individual, because Neil should take over Rumble. Lisa, you're funny. You know, I was so frustrated when all this censorship was going on, because Rumble had such a huge opportunity, and instead of building their platform, I mean, I know a lot of inside baseball and some of the things that went on there. Some of the people who were served up to Rumble who really could have helped their organization, and it's frustrating, and it's really frustrating. It's really frustrating, but I would like to see other video platforms do well. So anyhow, there's just a number of things I'd like to see, but I want to make some calls. I'm going to call Doug. I want to see if he's called Quentin. I want everybody back. I want everybody back. I want us to do streams together again. I want the band all back together. I love these people. I love these people. All right. Keep fighting the good fight, folks. I love y'all. We'll see you on the next episode. All right. Peace out.